Commission Factory.
Hey there, hustlers. Welcome back to the show. And do we have a treat for you this week? In this episode, I have the pleasure to sit down with Matthew Lloyd. Matthew has held many roles in the performance and affiliate marketing space, from MySale Group, Catch, and more. He's a veteran of the affiliate marketing industry. Having worked in affiliate marketing for over 2 decades globally, Matthew has seen it all. In this conversation, we talk candidly about the future of affiliate marketing, what's working, what's not, and how brands should be looking at affiliate marketing in the future. Well, Matthew, thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
You are someone who has been working in the affiliate space for quite some time and have a lot of really interesting viewpoints on, the future of affiliate marketing. And so I really want to dive into that today. So for the listeners out there, maybe let's just start off with a quick intro.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the digital space since 2000. So I'm probably one of the dinosaurs. There are a few out there that have been in the industry longer. I got into affiliate marketing back in about 2002, 2003. I got a phone call on a very rainy day from a guy who I'm still in touch with, saying would I be interested in free traffic to a website. Well, to me, that's a no-brainer, free traffic. You don't have to pay for it. So that's how I really got into it. And he was explaining that we'll only charge you if you convert. And I thought, well, this is a win-win. I worked for one of the biggest affiliates in the United Kingdom, money.co.uk, which was a fantastic experience. I learned a lot there. And then whilst I was working there, we emigrated as a family. We were a very young family. I worked for Hitwise, which a lot of people will remember, and a couple of large companies here in Australia, including Catch. But I'm now currently at MySale, who are now part of the Frasers Group out of the UK. So it's almost like I've gone back to the UK, but not physically.
What are you currently doing at MySale at the moment?
I currently look after all the digital performance. So we're a small team, so that pretty much includes everything. That's your traditional paid search, the affiliate space. We're looking at expanding more into the social elements of things as well, obviously with TikTok becoming quite a large player in that space. So we're sort of broadening out that digital performance element.
Yeah, great. And how are things going? I mean, from a performance perspective, you're obviously looking at all the different channels. How is affiliate playing against some of those other channels that you're playing in?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I only think there is one performance channel, and that is affiliate marketing. To me, performance is you credit someone when they've actually performed. You don't credit someone that you pay in advance for. So I think there's a place for everything. But in terms of how I define performance is someone has done something for you in advance. Now, digital marketing as a whole, everything is different. Obviously, the biggest player in the market is Google in terms of digital spend, assuming the American government don't change things. TikTok is obviously becoming a very big player in the Australian space. And I think this has been a shift definitely in the last 6 to 9 months is the influencer space, which has been very media spend as opposed to performance measured. But we're seeing quite a few companies coming out of Europe in particular that are really changing the space when it comes to influencers. And we don't have to worry so much now about paying an influencer upfront. And to us as a small business, that is really great business for us. So it gives us an opportunity to work with a lot more influencers than we would have been able to have done this time last year. And I think that's fantastic for any business.
Yeah. And so what are some of the examples? What are they doing in the space that's really exciting you?
Yeah, I would say 4 or 5 out there at the moment that are really promising. They are fantastic. They go and source the influencers for you. Obviously, we are allowed to vet them. They will go out and come back to us. And what these new softwares do is that they say, well, we'll give them value upfront in terms of they will pay on a CPC, which is pretty much unheard of. But as the merchant, we actually pay on a CPA. So that's a really big change. So to us, that's fantastic. I think it's going to take us probably about 18 months to see the full value of it. I think there's some really good traditional performance influencer companies out there. And I think we can probably name one of them, and that's LTK. So they've been on the market for a very long time. So they have a completely different business model, but they're all in that sort of mix. And I think, yeah, we're probably judging by what other companies have been saying. We're probably looking at about 18 months because generally speaking, that seems to be where the sweet spots tend to be. But we may find it accelerates a lot more quickly with this new system that is coming into place.
It baffles me a little bit how it works, right? It's shifting the mind. Like, you're never going to shift the mindset of an influencer that their followers are the most important number known to mankind and that their influence is the biggest influence in the world, right? And so you're never going to convince them that, you sent out content to 2 million followers, but I only got 2 sales. It's not a good thing. And so, they're not working to sell products. That's not how they're building their platform. So monetizing them in a way that they understand while also monetizing brands in the way that they need is the right step forward. But how does it work?
To me, follower numbers are vanity. Yeah. And in the past, it's, you get this reach, you get this. And I think, well, that's just vanity measurement. But what this does, and the ones that we've been working with will get reports. So we get total transparency. We understand how many clicks they send, what they're converting. And I think that makes a difference. But I'm in the belief, or more in hope, that when they start working with us, they'll see the value in terms of, right, okay, we're getting gifting, we're getting CPC. They're getting both ways. I know stories are very keen, but we've got a really great bit of content that doesn't last 24 hours, but lasts for months. Then there's going to be extra value add for them because they then get a constant stream of income. And I think that's where the mindset has to change. And I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that travels over the next 18 months. And I'm excited because I think it's going to open the opportunity to more and more. And we do have people reaching out to us. And at the end of the day, we want to have a great reputation for offering a great service to them.
It's a nice way of looking at it. Obviously, they build followers to make money. The dream is to just be able to create content and live off that and build your following so that you don't have to have a full-time desk job, right? So understanding how to commercialize that in a better way, hopefully most are very open to it. What's been your experience so far, particularly these Aussie influencers where this is a bit of a new concept?
Well, it's very new. We've literally just finished our first campaign.
Oh, good.
Look, I'm hoping that we can build it to the level that we have with other affiliates. They're going to be those who just want the quick win. Absolutely. And I understand that. And they want to move on to the next thing. But I think there's also going to be those who understand the longevity of it. We're sitting down with a couple and first thing is, what can we do better? Yeah, I think that's the question. How can we help them more? And what have we learned? How can we incentivize, not necessarily in money, but how can we incentivize in terms of levels, service, etc. And I think that's the important thing, because at the end of the day, what's really important about the affiliate space, it's all about relationship building.
So you mentioned evergreen content, which it makes sense, almost taking like the blogger publisher style content where, who specialize in a certain topic. When that content is evergreen, they can continue to make money off that content years down the track. I guess my question to you is, what does evergreen content look like in the context of MySale?
Yeah, it's different ways of looking at it. And again, that's something that we're learning. I think the vloggers are particularly strong in this space. There's a couple in the UK. You look at some of their videos, and they're still getting views years after they've done it. And the really good ones are out there, and they list all the products that they wear. They put a link to all the products using their affiliate links. And I think it's not just about Instagram. And I think people have got to get away from that mindset. I mean, unboxing is almost as old as YouTube is old. And I'm amazed people are not putting a little bit more into that. And so it's like, right, I've got this and I can link the two together, as opposed to this just sort of 24-hour sort of blitz sometimes on Instagram. I understand you get an instant lift, but at the same time, you can also look at it in a different way and say, oh yeah, well, if I do this as well, I can also link here. And you use things like Linktree and things like that. And it's a win-win for the influencer for sure.
That's so true, actually. Like you mentioned tactics like unboxing, which have been around forever. So it feels like since the dawn of social media almost. But why do we continue to chase kind of the next best thing and the shiny thing when there's still proven tactics and content out there that people are still engaging with?
Yeah, look, I think to me, writing a blog, and I have my own little blog, we won't mention it, it's pretty,
Come
but
on.
I dip in and out periodically. It takes a long time to do your research and put content together.
Yeah.
It's hard. So I think if you get your SEO right on your content site and you get it right on YouTube, it's there for ages. I mean, I'm looking up things at the moment on totally irrelevant to work. The greatest examples to me are the Vlogmas videos. I love those.
What a Vlogmas? I don't even know what that is. Explain it. What is that?
Out of the UK, Zoe Snuggs, I think she started doing a video every day in the run-up to Christmas about 10 years ago, and they're just massive. And you watch those every year now, and it's sort of family entertainment. It's almost like an advent calendar online.
Oh, my son watches some, actually. Funny that.
And yeah, they're a bit more adult.
Yeah, I'm sure those are a bit more adult. My sons are more like toys and decorations to decorate the house and stuff. But yeah, same sort of concept, a bit like the advent calendar.
They're brilliant. All the big UK ones, I suppose off the top of my head, Fashion Mumbler would be the biggest, I would have thought, in that space. So of those that I'm aware of. And we have a few family favorites that we follow every Christmas, but they're great, and once you put something up on the web, it is always there.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that.
Yeah.
And it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. But yeah, I think if you were in that space, you probably want to push it a bit more, I thought.
I'm sure there's a lot of influencers out there who could use having a chat with you to give them some ideas on how they can start to be a little bit more commercial. But it's a challenge, I think, when Instagram continues to be the dominant channel. They position themselves as a shopping channel, as a place for brands. Unless you're using some of those 24-hour tactics like, stories, etc., Instagram algorithm hurts you as an influencer. So it's almost like the tools are against you.
I agree with that. And I think the other thing we have to take into account is the demographics as well. When I started back in 2000, I worked for a new media agency, and we had a thing called the Red Bible. And one of the articles in this was about how many touch points you required back then to get a conversion. It was 7.
Not anymore.
Now, the latest one I read last year was something up around 27. So, there's no funnel anymore. I'm not a believer in the funnel. I know that's going to be very controversial. I believe it was almost like a bowl of pasta, spaghetti, whatever you want to call it. And if you're not in that bowl, you're not going to get eaten by that user. And the top of the funnel, as people like to call it, is also the bottom now. We're seeing that now with influencers. Now, and vice versa. Things that were at the bottom are now possibly more towards the top. People are just digesting things completely differently to the way they used to. And I think we have to remember that.
I completely agree with that. This kind of concept of the funnel, and there's a 3-part stage and you move from one part to the next, and it's kind of like that's how you make a decision, is so antiquated in my opinion. Even us, strategists, we sit there and try and talk about the funnel because it helps us. But that's not how consumers are making product decisions.
No, absolutely, they're not. I mean, I'm walking into a store. Well, I'm not, but you get the gist. I'm walking into a store and I'm going to buy a product. And then I think, right, no, actually, I'm going to look this up on my mobile. So there's your digital straight away. Then you walk outside and then you see a billboard and you think, that shop's got it. And then you go to that shop and then you check your mobile again. And they've got a coupon code. Do I want that coupon code?
I was about to say.
There's no funnel in that at all.
There's none.
A lot of people are going to shoot us down for these sort of comments. I get that. But I've been a true believer that it's not really there anymore.
I definitely feel like every consumer's pathway is so different. There's a lot of channels that are coming and going. You talked about social and the fact, we got to stop thinking and putting all our eggs in one basket with Instagram. What are your thoughts for the future here? Because I know you've got some big thoughts around the challenges with the so-called customer journey and the unpredictability of the future of some of these platforms.
Yeah, look, I think the main one is content. Content is the bread and butter of SEO. It's what people are digesting. And I think that is going to come back quite strongly. I think some of the big Australian media companies have been at least 5 to 10 years behind the rest of the world when it comes to content strategy. Thankfully, they are now catching up very quickly, which is great. I think what it will do, though, which will make it a little bit more tricky, is that tenancy fees. And those of you who don't know what tenancy fees are, they're like paying someone in advance, which is kind of what we'd like to try and avoid in the affiliate space. So I think if you get that right and you sit down, whether that is a major newspaper or blogger who specializes in a particular area, then I think that's where it's going to go more towards this sort of American model where you pay more tenancies. But I hope it doesn't destroy the content piece. Sometimes they reach out to you and they want X amount and you think, it doesn't really warrant that amount of money, but we're more than happy to help you in other ways. I won't go into that because that's actually strategy, but I think that will probably be this time next year, without a doubt. I think one more Christmas, and I think we'll see some of the really big content guys here in Australia. They really understand the industry in terms of affiliate, and I think that's really encouraging. And particularly as we are predominantly in the fashion space, I'm hoping it help us. But I think it's going to help everyone. It doesn't matter what your vertical is, as long as you're targeting the right publications and the right areas in those publications. I think that's going to be a win-win long term, particularly if you can get evergreen content.
And so what are some of the things you feel the Australian market are behind that they need to catch up on?
I think that's it. I really think that is truly it. I was in the UK about 4 years ago for PI Life, and it was quite interesting seeing the difference of what affiliates were offering in Europe to what they're offering here in Australia. And honestly, it wasn't really that different. I think the only real difference was they had slightly more advanced software companies out there that aren't available, but that's fine. There are some big, very big players in Europe who have landed on Australian shores. I won't mention who they are, but I think that's really encouraging that they'll see the Europeans are trying to expand. We don't really see many of the Americans coming here.
Too small a market in their eyes, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but I think the Europeans could look at us as being quite a small market as well. But there seems to be a great encouragement. One of them is in that influencer space, and very encouraged to see them here. So I think there's going to be a good mix coming through. And it's a really small industry, even globally. So I think once people start hearing good things out of Australia, more and more of the European players will be coming here. There's no doubt about that.
I hope so. I worked overseas for a number of years in a publisher as well at Hearst in New York. And, entire sites built off the back of affiliate marketing in Hearst that were extremely profitable for the publishing house. And there was never any doubt that affiliate marketing was a tactic that needed to be deployed within the business and was highly profitable and had that, I'll call it the SEO effect. It starts off slow, but it just continues to make money years on, So it takes time to build, but it definitely has a lot of groundswell. And so then coming back to Australia, it seemed, to your point, I think it was behind, but it's not behind because there isn't great publishers and great content creators. I think there's a mindset that still just needs to shift. And that is that affiliate marketing is not something that's just another tactic that you put on the back of your media plan. It's not measured in the same way. It's paid differently. It should be considered differently. And it almost feels like there's just more of a mindset shift more than anything else that needs to happen. And once publishers and, those tech players also come in and start to reinvigorate sort of the industry, we'll start to see a shift in that concept of, okay, all right, this can actually be really good for my business because I'm only paying for that sale, but also it's good for the brand. It's helping your product get in front of consumers when they're looking for that content.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got me going now. Okay, so there's a couple of things. I just want to go back over the original question. I think what's really encouraging is the diversity within the current affiliates in Australia. More and more are finding different ways to monetize. And I think the other thing, I think companies have got to understand that you don't budget affiliate marketing like you do with your paid.
Yeah.
The amount of times, this is your budget. Forget it. Do never set a budget for affiliate marketing ever. Around tenancy fees, fine. I get that. Absolutely. But the amount of times I've seen companies who've limited their or tried to limit their affiliate budget to those who are unlimited, it is chalk and cheese in terms of performance. I think the other thing you've got to do, and I periodically do this, is work out how much wastage I've paid for a click in advance to what I haven't wasted on an affiliate click. So basically, the amount of wastage in paid search compared to affiliate, and people forget that. Yes, there is volume elsewhere. I get that. But if you get a good mix and you slowly build it up, you're going to get a great mix of people who are going to assist you get those individuals through the front door, then purchase, whether you're online or offline. Yeah, and there are a couple of affiliates now are really going hard offline. That is something we were not talking about 3 years ago. So it's easy for accountants to understand paid. It's very difficult to understand affiliate in terms of budgeting in that respect.
Yeah. But you raised such an interesting point, which is don't put a budget on it. To be fair, we have had people on the show. For instance, we had Sam Viney from Lounge Lovers, and he talked about affiliates sometimes can impact his business based on the margins and shipping and delivery costs. So there are always circumstances in which there are some categories that do have to limit that. But having said that, if it's working, particularly in your industry in fashion, there are some categories where it doesn't make sense to turn it off. If it's working, keep going.
What we learned from the global financial crisis, and definitely during COVID, is how many people pulled out of paid and went into affiliate marketing because they can control their budgets from a profitable point of view. And I understand where you're coming regarding that last comment, but you just change your margins in your commission rates. It's as simple as that. And what I love about affiliate marketing is you're always learning something new. And the reason is because it's not becoming automated, not yet. You're dealing with individuals. Someone new that was some crazy idea of a comparison site there. I won't mention the subject, but it was definitely adult orientated.
Got it. We had Love Honey on here one episode. It's all good.
They're a great team.
I've met them.
I've met them. They're a great team. And but you've got some fashion comparison sites. Oh, they're bread and butter for us. And there's always someone new coming on, and so you have to understand. And I will mention him, Chris Tragic, who used to be at Bayat, which was one of the original networks. I have to thank him because the second I hang up from that phone call on that rainy day in Putney, I've never really looked back. I just love the space. It's evolving the whole time. And someone new is coming up with something different all the time. New users coming in and people thinking of new ideas. And it's just so encouraging that people are so creative and they want to come up with something that's completely different. It's just, the diversity is amazing.
Yeah. We've had a few guests on the show who've talked about chatbots and other things that they've leveraged from an affiliate marketing perspective. And so there's a lot of different ways as well. It's not just influencers on social and some cashbacks and coupons. There's so much more out there to be had, and that's growing, to your point, constantly.
It is.
So I'm going to end with a question. There's a lot of people who listen to this podcast who might be new to the space, just trying to get their head around it. What advice do you have for them?
Get into it. Whether you start in your bedroom trying to be an affiliate, whether you are in marketing, or to be quite honest with you, even if you're not doing marketing, I think sometimes the best people I know in the affiliate space have never had a marketing qualification in their life. It's all about being nice to people. Oh, it sounds like a cheesy thing to say, doesn't it? Be nice to people. Just be nice and read. I read every day. I read 3 to 4 different newsletters every day. You just got to read. How do you get into it? Just go on to Seek or LinkedIn and look up an affiliate marketing role. The way I got into this, I was working at British Airways, and they had a system there called Amadeus, which is still around. It shows all the flights in the world. And I was selling holidays. And I thought, well, this is interesting. And we're selling holidays over the phone. And we got this thing called Amadeus. And there's this new thing called the internet. Shows you how long ago. And so I went to marketing and I said, hey, look, this is new thing called the internet. Can we just take Amadeus, take our data, mash it together and create one of these website things? And they said, well, interesting you should say that. Anyway, this conversation sort of dragged on for about 6 months. And there was no opening for me. probably because I did not have a marketing qualification. And I was just talking to a colleague, literally in the department next to me, and her partner was the owner of a new media agency. And that's how I got into it. Just ask. And the one thing that you will learn about affiliate marketing is that you learn on the job. There's absolutely no other way of doing it. You can read about it and things, but you just learn and learn from others, and reach out to people. I have people sometimes reach out to me. I always try to be honest and frank. But yeah, if you're in a big team, small team, or you're a small business and you're not doing affiliate marketing, go to your owner and say, hey, look, there's this old guy who's talking about affiliate marketing online. I reckon this will work for us. And there's some great networks out there that will be more than happy to help you build your business. And there'll be a lot of opportunities. It's not going to be a golden egg, silver bullet, whatever you want to call it. It takes a lot of hard work, and it will take years to build up a really good affiliate program. I think people have to be patient on that. It's not an instant win. Yes, there are elements that are low hanging fruit. Absolutely. But yeah.
I completely agree with, just getting into the space too. The industry is still small and it's still relatively new in terms of hitting that sort of mass reach for a lot of marketers. And that means that there is a skill shortage out there. And so for anyone thinking about getting into the space, now is the time, I'd say. It's only going to evolve with technology and capabilities and publishers jumping on board. So it's a really great time as well for anyone considering to maybe shift their specialty to jump on board.
Yeah, and to be quite honest with you, my job is very diverse. I take up lots of channels. Just add it to your channel. Just add it to your channel of mixes that you work on, and away you go.
Yes, there's literally nothing to lose. Only sales to be gained. Maybe a little bit off the bottom line, but it was really great to chat to you. Really interesting and compelling conversation. Really appreciate your experience in the space and your eye towards the future as well and what that brings. So thank you very much for bringing your honesty to the table. I think we had some good chats. Really appreciate it. And, maybe we'll talk again soon.
That'd be fantastic.
Well, I hope you got a little bit of inspiration from that great chat with Matthew. I know I did. Next week, we have another great episode. Here's a sneak peek.
So really interestingly, we expected to be largely coupon and sales driven. And when we first started this, that was absolutely the place we started because it's easy to attract customers with that. But the research that we did both externally, and we ran a survey as well to over 1,000 shoppers, and we asked, why do you subscribe to brands? And there was a whole bunch of different questions. But what came about was truly that it was about 50-50 sign up and follow a brand because they want to know about the sales, they want a discount code, etc. Or they wanted to know when new collections are coming from that brand. They want to stay in touch with that brand. That was much higher number than I thought. I really thought that, 70-80% of people are signing up for that coupon code.
If you aren't already, don't forget to follow so you don't miss an ep. And while you're there, why not drop us a rating and review? We'd love to hear what you think. Flex Your Hustle is made possible by the great team at Commission Factory and produced by Ample. I'm Michelle Lomas. Keep hustling and bye for now.
Commission Factory.